What's going on, everyone? So, Klay Thompson has been absolutely killing the Lakers. He did it in game one, cooled off a bit in the second half, but game two torched us. And the Lakers, Lakers got torched, period. And it was really rough. And Austin Reaves, as much as we love him and as great as he's been for us, has really been struggling these first two games, and specifically on the defensive end, guarding Klay Thompson. He just cannot stay with him. And you can't really, like, who else are you going to put him? Like, if he can't stay with Klay, he's definitely not going to be able to stay with Steph. He's too little to guard Andrew Wiggins. They tried to do that, and he was just getting bullied and bodied. It's becoming a problem that I think is an easy fix. Now, if Austin Reaves was going out there and shooting the lights out, and it was like, hey, man, Austin Reaves is out here giving you 25 a night, like, you can't sit him, then I could understand that. But he's having his struggles. And look, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, right? We need him to get back into the swing of things and getting back to being Austin Reaves. Absolutely, right? But I think a lot of people forget at times that he's still in year two, right? He's still, 22, 23 years old. He's just been so good so quickly that it's like we expect him to be to this certain level, and he just hasn't been these two games, which is fine. Go back to the bench where he thrived in the bench role and might even be best suited in. I've made that argument countless times. And you have him, he can also handle the ball more and get back to being and getting in the playmaking duties. He also would be going up against the bench unit, where I believe that he can defend, in my opinion. I think you can put him on Jordan Poole. I think you could put him on, like, obviously guys like Gary Payton or DiVincenzo or stuff like that. I just think he's really having his struggles with Klay Thompson, and we got to find a way to slow Klay Thompson down. We've done a really good job on Steph Curry, right? Vanderbilt has been just really working double time to just keep Steph Curry modest. And look, they allowed Curry to kind of play point guard, and we were trapping him and all this stuff. But everything that we saw in game two in regards to Steph, I think are very easy fixes, right? The problem is that we're in this position where we can't really switch on Steph because Austin Reaves and D'Lo can't guard Steph. And if we double team him, then Steph just goes into playmaking mode, and it just becomes this mess and this constant mismatch, right? And Klay Thompson is playing so well that it's just, you have him killing us, and then we have to worry. It's just a lot. It's a handful, which is why most teams can't beat the Warriors, right? Because they're the Warriors. They're a handful. But I do think that the Lakers have a very easy fix. Unfortunately, you can't duplicate Jarred Vanderbilt. I wish we could clone him immediately and have two of him on the court, because then he could guard Steph and Klay. But what we do have is we do have another guy that can guard Steph, and then put Jarred Vanderbilt on Klay Thompson. And there you go. Problem solved. And that is Dennis Schroder. I really think that Darvin Ham should highly consider starting Dennis Schroder in the backcourt with D'Angelo Russell. And this is for several reasons. One, for the obvious one that I just mentioned, he can guard Steph. Jarred Vanderbilt can guard Klay now. And there you go, right? Now you're in a position to where Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga and Poole and they're all going to have to step up, because Schroeder's done a really good job on Steph as well. Maybe he won't do as good of a job on Steph as Vanderbilt had done, but if you can basically neutralize Klay Thompson and then still keep Steph relatively pedestrian, you're never going to stop Steph. He's still going to go get his 20 plus, but if you can keep him working hard and make things difficult, and then stop Klay Thompson. Well, not stop, because again, you're never going to stop Klay Thompson, but make it harder on him rather than him shooting 8 for 11 from 3. If you can get that to like 5 of 11 from 3, you're going to win these games, and you're going to win this series. But beyond that, the Golden State Warriors in this series as well as in the regular season, really struggled when Dennis Schroder and D'Angelo Russell were on the court together because it's two very different play styles. It's two guys that can just get to their spots, get to the basket, and score in a various of ways. And I just think that that gives us our best matchup, right? You got D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, we need him for his shooting, his playmaking, his ability to score at all three levels. You got to keep D'Lo. Dennis Schroder, what he provides is that defense and a guy that can match up to Steph and make things difficult. And now you have Schroeder, AD, and Vanderbilt, all of which can switch and defend and do multiple things. And the beauty is the Warriors don't have the shot blocker to make things complicated, right? Schroeder should be able to get to the rim, and give that lob or dump pass to Anthony Davis. D'Lo has, even in game 2, was really finding his spots. He just couldn't hit the shots, but he was finding his shots. Our guard play is one of our biggest advantages in this series. I understand the Warriors, they have Steph, they have Klay, they have Poole. They get that. They are incredible. And we have our struggles in and of itself with them. But they cannot guard our guards. Klay Thompson cannot guard Dennis Schroder. He cannot guard D'Angelo Russell. Steph Curry cannot guard Dennis Schroder, cannot guard D'Angelo Russell. They've struggled with those guys. And we saw it even more apparent in game 1 because these two both scored 19 points. On efficiency, Schroeder was 50% from the field and D'Lo was like 47%. They cannot guard these guys. And so if you had them with LeBron James, Jarred Vanderbilt, and Anthony Davis, LeBron James is like 4th in the entire playoffs in like defensive efficiency. So basically all 5 guys can defend. All 5 guys can switch now. D'Lo has done a great job defensively. He's not like an elite defender, but he's been working, fighting over screens, staying in front of guys, closing out. How many times have we seen a guy get wide open and D'Lo's the only one running over there trying to close out? And there's even guys closer than he is, but he's making the effort. So now you got 5 guys on the court that can all defend, that are all making the effort, and that we match up better. I think that's something that we really might have to look into and might have to be a real adjustment that we make. And look, it's not, and that doesn't mean that Austin Reaves can't play, but now you got Reaves and Rui coming off the bench and playing their minutes and that role. And then, when Steph is out the game, Schroeder goes and sits and you put Reaves in. Or you could even put Reaves in for D'Lo, right? And then, have Reaves guard, Jordan Poole or, Gary Payton or whatever, right? So you just basically have Austin Reaves cover for Schroeder when Steph is out the game. And then you have D'Lo, or you have Austin Reaves cover for D'Lo when you need to get D'Lo some rest, right? So you can still get Reaves his rest and his time, but you're running Schroeder heavily. And I think that that's the way to go. I really do. This matchup. And it's nothing against Austin Reaves. It's not. It's just matchup wise. And that's what the playoffs boil down to, is matchups. And Dennis Schroder has done a good job on Steph. He's quick enough, he's fast enough, he's strong enough, he's physical enough that you need him in spots, and he can go and guard stuff. Not just that, but if they try to run that pick and roll, Schroeder's better to switch it, because you can if they run that pick and roll with Jarred Vanderbilt and Dennis Schroder, you can switch, and now Jarred Vanderbilt is on Steph Curry, and now you have Dennis Schroder who is on Klay Thompson, who he can still defend Klay Thompson. Probably not as well as Steph, but still, he can't do worse than Austin Reaves is doing right now. Klay Thompson is absolutely abusing Austin Reaves. And I just think for this matchup, Schroeder needs to start. I think the Warriors can't stop him or defend him when he's going downhill. I think he just defends and matches up better. And that gives you some more versatility. It gives you more switchability. I think your defense will be better. You can guard all these guys. If you can take Klay Thompson out of the game, you probably win game 2, right? I mean, other guys really shot the lights out, but a lot of that was like us doubling off of Steph because, he's just such a handful, and then Klay Thompson getting hot, and then it's like, man, and then you got your Michael Green. Like, but if you had Dennis Schroder, you don't have to double as much. You could just have Schroeder directly on him, and then Jarred Vanderbilt just glued to Klay Thompson, and then he basically just make it very difficult. I mean, look, if Jarred Vanderbilt is able to make Steph Curry work and make things difficult for Steph, I see him doing a number on Klay Thompson. Seriously. Again, not saying you're going to shut him down. I could see Klay Thompson really having his struggles, though. And he's been inconsistent all playoffs. Been inconsistent all year. So if you can take him out of his element and you can start making things uncomfortable for him and then still have a guy that can maintain on Steph, I think you're going to have success. And that Schroeder, Vanderbilt, like we saw that at the end of the game one, right? You had Schroeder, Vanderbilt, 80, and LeBron on the court. And we pushed out to a 14-point lead, and then we kind of hit the standstill offensively, and then we made the adjustment to take out Vanderbilt, and then the Warriors went on a run, right? But if we can do that, and maybe instead of a 14-point lead, get a 20-point lead, and then, you can change a lot. And look, having Schroeder, Vanderbilt, and Anthony Davis on the court at the same time is probably never a bad idea. Especially if LeBron starts knocking down that three ball, which it looked good in game two. And that's always been LeBron. LeBron's always been the streaky shooter, right? He'll shoot, 16% from three for a month, and then the next month he'll shoot like 42% from three, right? In 2018, there was a great example. He shot like 15% from three in the first two rounds, and then the last two rounds, he ended up shooting like 45%, something like that. I'm not saying he's going to shoot 45%, but if he can just shoot, 35%, then that just opens up a lot more because now he can spread the floor a bit. Dennis Schroeder can knock it down occasionally. Anthony Davis can still dominate down low. Jarred Vanderbilt, he's done a decent job in that corner three, and they'll probably continue to leave him open. His hustle play. You just got three guys that can hustle, gain rebound, defend, switch ability. I think this is the way to go. Maybe you lose a little bit of offense, but again, it's not like Austin Reaves is shooting the lights out. Austin Reaves gave us 10 points in game one and just really seemed to struggle on the offensive side. And now here in game two, it's not like he went off for 25. He's struggling on the defensive end and gave us 7 on the offensive end. So now, game one, he gave us 10. Game two, he gave us 7. And in game two, he was 3 of 11 and 1 of 5 from 3. And he had 2 turnovers. Right? Like, that's becoming a problem. And if you can fix that problem and adjust that problem, then I think you do it. Right? Like, again, in 6 less minutes, Dennis Schroder had 2 steals, only 1 turnover, compared to Reeves' 2, and gave us 4 points. Schroeder was 0 of 3, so he was rough shooting too, but it's just that defensive end. So if we're not getting offensive output from Austin Reaves, and he's getting torched on the defensive end, at least with Schroeder, if you don't get the offense, you're going to get the defense. And then you trust that D'Lo, LeBron, and AD can generate enough offense in those lineups, which I do believe they can. Right? I mean, D'Lo, in game one, they did. You had LeBron with 22, Davis with 30, and D'Lo with 19. Right? Like, there you go. And Schroeder had 19. And I do believe Schroeder can pick it up on the offensive end. I just think he needs to be more aggressive and take more looks. He only took 3 shots. So I think that may be the adjustment. Even if they don't do it in game 3, I could see that being the thing in game 4. I'm not really worried about game 3, personally. I think the Lakers go into game 3 and just basically dominate game 3. I think they win by double digits. Game 4 is my concern. Just like the Memphis series, right? The Warriors are going to feel like we cannot go down 3-1. Our backs are against the wall here. If we lose this game, we're in trouble. I think a nice change and adjustment that would be a surprise and on the fly would be to start Schroeder. You start Schroeder, especially if he has a good game 3 and Reaves continues to struggle. I think you do that. I really do. I think that's the move, that's the play. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, yeah, you got to start Schroeder? Do you think, no, give Austin Reaves a little more time? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know.